Can exercise grow the aging brain? For years, the research could show only a link. People who moved more tended to have healthier brains. But a link is not proof. So this time, researchers ran a real experiment. 2 trials did exactly that, and for a while, they looked like the answer everyone had been waiting for. Getting past that link took 2 changes at once. First, they assigned people to exercise, instead of simply watching who chose to be active. That removes the worry that healthier people were the ones exercising all along. Second, they looked straight at the brain on a scan, instead of waiting years for a dementia diagnosis. Doing both at once was new. The first trial came in 2006. Researchers took 59 older adults, healthy but inactive. For 6 months, they were randomly put on one of 2 programs, brisk walking or simple stretching. Then the team compared brain scans. The walkers gained tissue, gray and white matter, in regions that normally thin with age. The stretching group did not, and neither did a younger comparison group. It was the first randomized sign that exercise does not just go along with a healthier brain, it can change the tissue itself. 5 years later came the study that made the idea famous. The same group took 120 older adults and assigned them to a year of brisk walking or stretching. This time, they tracked one structure, the hippocampus, the brain's memory center, which shrinks with age. The result was striking. In the walkers, the hippocampus grew by about 2%. In the stretching group, it shrank by about 1.4%, roughly a year of normal aging. That growth came with higher blood levels of BDNF, a protein that helps neurons grow and survive. A part of the brain that we thought could only shrink seemed to have grown instead, just from walking a few times a week. Step back, and you can see why this felt like proof. For the first time, the design answered the question the earlier studies could not. This time, people were assigned rather than choosing for themselves. That removed the old worry that the healthy are simply the ones who exercise. And the result was something you could see on a scan, not a diagnosis decades away. This is where the familiar story took hold, the one most people still believe about exercise and the brain. Before we go further, 3 things need to stay in view. These were healthy, cognitively normal older adults, not patients with memory loss. So the findings are about keeping a well brain well, rather than treating disease. What changed was brain volume. That is a physical stand-in, not the disease itself. Not one person in these trials developed dementia or avoided it. And the studies were small and short. 59 people, then 120, tracking a subtle change over months. None of that makes the results wrong. It makes them a beginning. And a beginning has to be checked. The caution here is not hindsight. Within weeks of the 2011 paper, a reply in the same journal pointed to a crack in the headline. Yes, the walking group improved on a memory test, but so did the stretching group, and the 2 did not differ. The brain scans had moved apart. The memory scores had not. The 2% was real as a measurement. What it meant for memory was already in doubt. And yet the 2% took off. It became a headline and a famous talk passed around as settled science. But one question had not been answered. The question that decides whether any finding holds. Can an independent team run the study again and get the same result? Until someone does, a striking number is a promising lead, not a fact. That question, whether anyone could reproduce the famous result, set the agenda for the decade that followed. What they found is part 4.